Alright, we are live. Little smidge bit early, so I'm not going to quite start yet, but I did just want to make sure everything was up and running, so it looks like it's capturing the audio okay, but if it's too quiet, let me know. Okay, it's now 3 o'clock, so hello and welcome. I'm Zilla, and this is my live stream where I am playing The Forgotten City, which is an excellent little adventure mystery set in a Roman city that's really quite stunning. Minimal, although not no combat, I should warn you. If you're here, feel free to say hi in the chat. I will be watching it. And just a warning, sometimes I will pause the game so I can talk a bit longer because time does pass, and sometimes that matters for things in game. So, yeah, let's just dive right in, shall we? Right, so where were we? Ah, yes. This is Sentius's villa. He just finished filling us in on the golden rule, which is to say that if anybody in the city sins, for whatever meaning that might have to a Roman, which is to say that's probably not the word they would use, everybody gets turned to gold, and we have no idea why or how. Some god is just pissed off. And so Sentius believes that this rule is about to be broken, and that's why we're here. We've been pulled through a time portal that he set up. So, oh, I can check a quest journal. So he's asked me to find out who might break the golden rule. He thinks something is wrong with Lucretia, who is at the Shrine of Apollo. He heard some wailing from over there. My other goals, I've got, well, win the game. Try and get home to my own time, and figure out who is gonna break the golden rule. And in my inventory, I've got my denarius, my silver coin, with Antonia, indicating that I have chosen a female-looking form. I've got a flashlight, and I've got an inscribed stone tablet from Al, his suicide note. Right, so let's explore this palace, or, well, the villa a little bit. Oh, we've got this lovely mosaic here. I want to say this is one of Alexander, but I don't quite remember. And then this repeating wall frieze is actually Hadrian, so it's actually from later than this game is set. You can tell by that distinctive beardy face. He's just classic Hadrian. A little bust of Minerva there, you can tell by her helmet. If you see a helmeted woman, it's almost certainly going to be Minerva. We've got some really lovely textiles in this game, too. Which, of course, we've only seen depicted. I don't believe we have any textiles preserved all the way from the Roman era, but it's quite nice. And then we've got this weird little asymmetrical mosaic that I feel like is very sort of modern Chili's bathroom. I don't really understand it, but we do have some nice Greek faces. Black figure Greek vase here. Not entirely certain which battle it's showing, but given the rest of this game, I'm sure it's a real vase and I could look it up. Oh, we have a note from Scintilla. So, Scintilla is a girl who has gone missing. She is one of Sentius's daughters. We know this from our brief chat with Sentia, the other daughter. Let's see what the note says. Scintilla to Sentius, may Jupiter Optimus Maximus continue to protect and guide you. So Jupiter best and blessed and most blessed, like best and greatest. It's one of his titles. He has a lot of them. Thank you for making me your daughter, and for the lovely birthday pendant. I promise I will wear it always. So, I do want to talk here about Roman adoption practices, which are really pretty common. Romans would adopt children for any number of reasons, but it is much more common to adopt adults than small children. There's usually some kind of interpersonal relationship that has already formed, and there's some reason for making someone your heir, for bringing somebody who is an orphan into a living family. Maybe that's what happened with Scintilla. I mean, we have very little indication. I'll talk about names in a bit when we talk with Sentia some more, but it's interesting that we happen to have an adopted daughter here. I feel so safe and fortunate to have you as my father and Sentia as my sister. I sense you've been feeling apprehensive about the election next month, so this is an old note. This is from a month ago. But if you can just show them the strong and dependable man I know you to be, I know you will be re-elected. I'm sure of it. So, she's clearly very sweet, loves her father. Ooh, we have a little chest back here. It doesn't seem to want to open, so okay. Ah, we have a Lararium. So, this is a little household shrine where Romans offered daily prayers for protection. I'm pretty sure I recognize this one actually from a house in Pompeii, which is just beautifully preserved. You can see in here the figures of sort of ancestors, and in particular, these are often associated with snakes, sort of the household genius, which is our word genius, but it doesn't mean like intelligence, it means like a protector spirit. Oh, Sentius's personal chest. We could steal his money, but that red text indicates that it might break the golden rule. So we should probably not do that. So, back down here. Here is Sentia. Let's see what she has to say.
Oh, look, you're back. How lucky for me. What is it now?
She's such a charmer. So, we've already asked her what her story is. We could ask her a couple of other things. Let's see what she has to say about a way out of the city.
Ugh, what is it with you people? You heard the rumor that my little sister escaped and figure I must know a way out too. Is that it? Well, that's just a stupid rumor. We have no idea what happened to Scintilla. I wish you mouth breathers would just leave me alone.
This voice actress, I'm just really impressed with the depth of snark and distress that I'm hearing in this voice. But yes, so we have confirmation that Scintilla is vanished, and apparently people have been asking her how that happened, thinking that she must know what happened. So, I don't know, can we help?
I don't know. Can you? Can you tell me how a person could have disappeared from a city with no exits and no crime? Was she snatched away by the harpies?
Right, so, you know, harpies, a nice classic element of Greek mythology, would have been familiar from any number of myths. Women with bird bodies who were known to be filthy and foul, and probably ate humans. All of the great Greek classics were translated into Latin, usually many times. Oh, hey! Okay, yes, I am seeing your chats this time. Woohoo! Whoever has the gold makes the rules. That's sure true in this game. So let's ask a little bit more about Scintilla.
It was 3 weeks ago. We ate our evening meal together, and I remember she seemed happy. In love. We went into our rooms, I went to sleep, and when I woke up, she was gone. That's it.
So she says in love. That's interesting.
I think so, yes. But she was very careful about keeping his identity a secret, even from me. Because our father had plans to marry her off, eventually, and even a rumor about her attachment to some mystery man might have ruined those plans.
So, father's pater familias, a term that you've probably heard. The father, the patriarch of a family, whoever is the oldest male in the house, has the power of life and death over literally everybody under him in the household, from his wife and children all the way down to the lowest slave. So if he said that Scintilla needed to be married off to somebody, that's what would happen. And it's not like Roman women had no agency, they're still humans, but if she is really that attached to her adopted father, it makes sense that she would want to keep anything on the down low. So yeah, why didn't Sentius bring this up?
That doesn't surprise me. To him, it was like a prize cow wandering off from its paddock. He's upset, of course, but he says he's too busy with the election to help look for her. So he's letting Horatius do the heavy lifting. Some good that's done.
Okay.
I don't know, but it's been 3 weeks since she disappeared, and he hasn't come forward. That might speak to a guilty conscience. All I know is, whoever he is, he's still here in the city.
Well, that tracks, since nobody can really leave. And I think Scintilla was the last to disappear, although we'll get some more info on who else has disappeared. Okay, so let's talk about Roman names. Sentius, Sentia, Scintilla, why are your names also similar? Well, let's see what she says first.
You really aren't from here, are you? All Roman women are named after their fathers. I think it's their way of branding us, like cattle to be sold at market. His family name is Sentius, so I'm Sentia because I'm the eldest. And my little sister is formerly Sentia Minor, but she is affectionately known as Scintilla.
So, this is pretty common for Roman names. Romans did not actually have a lot of names. You will see the same about 20 male first names over and over and over, and then they would also have their family name, which here is mostly what they're going by. Sentius might also be sort of a nickname. A lot of Romans went by sort of a nickname that becomes part of their official name. Like you might know Cicero, that's certainly not a name, but for whatever reason, he was known as Chickpea, which is what that translates to. That's exactly what I was getting to, yes. So it's really interesting is that Sentia Minor, or Scintilla, seems to have come from the same family, because it's not necessarily true that she would have changed her name after adoption. So it seems like maybe she was a niece or something, but it's also possible that she did change her name. We don't have enough information at this time. But yeah, so you see that little illa as sort of a diminutive, and you'll see that pretty commonly. So I'll try and explain some of the names as they come up. Sentius I really like because it more or less translates to sensible, prudent. And so we have this very sort of conscientious overseer named Sentius. It really works. Not all of the names will be quite so on the nose. So let's interrogate Sentia a little bit more strongly, shall we?
I hope you're not insinuating I'm somehow pleased with her disappearance.
So I know from going through this on my own that there are two possible outcomes. Either she'll never speak to you again, which honestly seems kind of fair, or you can find a way to further investigate. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take the nicer option. Mostly because I'm interested. I don't know where this goes yet.
If you must know, I'm here because my father has forbidden me from leaving the villa. I couldn't bear to lose you too, he says, as if he loves me, and not because he needs at least one daughter he can trade off.
So what's interesting is, like, there aren't all that many people in this little town, so who exactly is he planning to marry them to? But yeah, there doesn't seem to be quite as much affection between Sentia and her father as Scintilla and her father.
So you'll help me find her? Oh, thank you. You should probably take a look through her room. It's the one just by the front door. Maybe you'll find something the rest of us missed. Thanks. I'd appreciate it.
So, let's ask her about the golden
some
rule.
People say it's the creation of an all-seeing God who's watching everything we do. But what kind of an awful, incompetent God would let my sister go missing on his or her watch?
I mean, I think it's a fair question. I don't know about you.
Did you hear that? Curse you, you coward! Where is my sister? What do you have to say for yourself? No response. Nothing. That's what I thought.
This was exactly what I thought when I heard her say that, so I'm just gonna go ahead and with blasphemy doesn't break the rule.
This God of ours has to be asleep on the job. Either that, or, like people are saying, it really is just a children's fable my father is exploiting to frighten us into behaving.
Well, I suppose we'll find out if it's true.
Suppose we will.
Don't have anything more about
Right,
Scintilla right
another
now,
time.
so let's go investigate, shall we? Oh,
Keep an eye out for Scintilla, would you?
Horatius? Yeah, let's talk to Horatius. This'll be
Well, now.
fun. What's your story, huh?
I'm a legionary of the 1st Italica, but there's not a lot of fighting down here. So the magistrate has assigned me other duties. I act as the magistrate's right-hand man, keeping an eye on his daughters. Daughter, I should say. And the others, and making sure they're all behaving. I also keep a register of new arrivals.
So we've got a pretty serious soldierly type, wearing some very fine armor. That is pretty realistic Roman armor, of course. Most of the clothes here are pretty realistic, especially the patrician clothes. I think Cyntia's dress would probably be a lot more interesting, and certainly she should have jewelry on, but maybe she's officially in mourning. That's also possible. But this is a nice legionary armor set. A nice round helm. So how did you get here, Horatius?
Up north originally. I was doing alright for myself. 12 years into my service. Had a nice girl lined up for when it was all over. Not anymore. She's probably figured I'm long gone and moved on by now. I try not to think about it. My commander sent me to deliver a message to Rome. While I was there, I thought I'd do something nice for my girl. And pick up a little pendant from a silversmith. That's when the crowd started flooding through the streets, shouting fire. People were screaming, trampling each other. Then some Genetricum fugitive tried to take advantage of the chaos and pinch my pendant. I remember chasing him through the crowds, down towards the river. And then, nothing. Blacked out and woke up near here. No idea how I ended up floating so far downriver. But I'm fortunate to be alive, I suppose.
So if you notice, he will curse in Latin. And all of them do this. If they want to curse, they use Latin, and it is actually Latin cursing. So Genetricum fututor is motherfucker. So that's pretty good. You also heard him mention this fire that Cyntius was talking about last time. So this would be the Great Fire of Rome during Nero's reign, which is, as far as all of these people know, seems to be being blamed on the Christians.
Ah, don't be. As Seneca the Younger said, difficulty strengthens.
Seneca.
That said,
My favorite Stoic.
Sentilla's disappearance has...
I adore Seneca. So, a little bit about Seneca. He was actually one of Nero's two sort of tutors. He was a philosopher, a playwright, certainly a politician, and he was, along with a soldier named Burrus, was, sort of in charge of Nero as a kid, and became an official advisor when Nero ascended to emperor. At first, he had a lot of hopes for Nero, and he wrote these pieces that are, sort of like reflections on how anger could interfere with duty, on princely ways of behavior, that sort of thing, and these, nice long philosophical meditations. But as it became clear that Nero was spiraling a little bit, he started to be a bit more direct. He wrote a series of tragedies, which I love dearly. They are very over the top, and sort of displaying in a way that he knew Nero would be interested in, because Nero was obsessed with the theater. He wanted to be an actor. We should have just let him be an actor, guys. But, so he wrote these wonderful tragedies, sort of displaying the downfalls of acting on impulse and acting unwise, and eventually he fell out of favor. He started writing these letters. We don't even know if the person they were addressed to really exists, but he sort of published this collection of philosophical letters. And so this is the stuff that you will see Horatius quoting a lot. He's a big fan of Seneca. So this might be actually before the disgrace. This might be from his earlier works, but it's really wonderful to have that in here. And, Seneca Minor, Seneca the Younger, is the one that we talk about today. We don't really, delve into Seneca the Elder very much. But it's really nice, a really nice touch that Horatius, for whom Seneca the Younger and possibly his father, Seneca the Elder, were alive at the time, to refer to him this way. So, that's just really wonderful. Okay. So let's find out what Horatius thinks of the people around him.
He's one of the better commanders I've ever had, that's for sure. Good Stoic. Lives by Seneca's words. Treat your inferior as you would wish your superior to treat you. Can't ask for much more than that.
That is an uncommonly good commander, have to say. But notice that the hierarchy is still very much there. But yeah, so big on Seneca.
I went around asking the same questions when I first arrived. Never did find a way out. But I learned how to accept my situation. To bear trials with a calm mind robs misfortune of its strength and burden. That's from Seneca the Younger, if you're interested.
I am interested. Tell me more, Horatius. So there were several big philosophical schools that were popular in Rome around this time. Senecan Stoicism. Stoicism comes actually originally from the Greek stoa, where it was sort of, this is sort of an area in the main market in Athens where a lot of thinkers would gather to talk. And the general vibe of Stoicism is moderation, detachment, and sort of being generally very thoughtful. This can lead to all sorts of nonsense, of course, because there are the people who take Stoicism way too far. And of course, everything under the sun can get appropriated by horrible Nazis who don't think about anything. But Senecan Stoicism is very much sort of Stoicism under an emperor, so Stoicism within a hierarchy, and so you get some kind of weird takes about things like slavery and such. But he's very keen on emotional moderation, which is something that I admire, something that appeals to me in moderation.
I don't see why not.
So he keeps a ledger of citizens. It's very trusting, really. But then again, where am I going to go, right? So there are going to be 23 people in here-ish. And we can see what he thinks are important about them. So we met Aurelia briefly. She was that tavern keep who thought I was very pretty. She says she knows a way out. Worth checking in with her about that. I haven't seen what she knows. We know that, so tavern in slum. So we have the city divided. Up here, clearly the patricians area, the noblemen's area. There's the forum that we briefly got shown by Galerius on our way in, and clearly we walked through the slums on our way here. So, Claudia we don't know yet. Decius we don't know yet, but he'll be in the forum. Domitius. Okay, so that's someone we can meet. Dulius is unable to work and imprisoned in a warehouse. I have no idea what that's about. Equitia. So she's a Vestal priestess. That's pretty cool. So Vesta, goddess of the hearth and home, played a very important role in Roman religion. And the Vestal priestesses, also known as the Vestal virgins, were dedicated to Vesta very early in life, usually anywhere between 4 and 8, was it? I can't quite remember now. Is there anyone in chat who happens to remember the age range for dedication? It's very young, anyway. So they would go in and they would stay there until they were, I believe it's 40. They could choose to leave. And their duties were to be utterly dedicated to the god and to stay virginal. But by virgin, they mean not giving birth. So, were there Vestals who had sex? Probably. Certainly there's a story about it in the founding of Rome, where if you've heard of the twins Romulus and Remus, Romulus being the one after whom the city is named, their mother was a Vestal virgin who was raped by the god Ares. And when it was discovered she was pregnant, she was thrown out. And the twins were born, she died in childbirth, and the twins were raised literally by a wolf, a she-wolf. Although the word lupa, which means a she-wolf, is also slang for prostitute, so take that as you will. But anyway, you'll sort of commonly see founding of Rome stuff with like a big she-wolf with engorged teats and two little human baby boys suckling at them. Anyway, so we have a Vestal priestess here. That's very interesting. Fabia, Baker, Galerius, the farmer that met us at the temple. Georgios is a Greek name. I think they pronounce it Georgius. Their pronunciation is not always the best, but that is totally fine. They're speaking English. I mean, they're speaking Latin, but they're speaking English. It's fine. Hannibal. Notice that foreigner is a class, alongside commoner and patrician. Foreigners were sort of in this strange in-between category. Very common in Rome and all over Roman society. Oh, I don't think I mentioned when Horatius was telling me where he was from. Liguria is up in northern Italy, so around Genoa. So he's Italian, but he's not from Rome itself, and so he says, I'm from up north. We're going to meet people later who are foreigners or from elsewhere in the empire. So Hannibal is a Carthaginian name. Now, Carthage, at this point, no longer exists as a civilization, as a city, but people still live there. So, okay. Then we have died in cistern, so that's odd. Horatius, that's him. Kabash, so an Egyptian name. And he's disappeared. An awful lot of foreigners disappearing. Yulia. Debt bondsman. So this would probably be more properly rendered as client. If you've ever heard of the patron-client relationship in Rome, that's sort of, so very wealthy people would take on clients, slightly less wealthy people, working people, and they might pay for their meals, or if they used to be a slave, they might free them and then they'd become their client. And you could find clientage in all sorts of ways, and this relationship was sort of like a patron is supposed to be a loving parent to their client in a sort of financial sense. So it's really cool that they actually have the client system in here as that. Okay, so now we have Livia, Lucretia. So Lucretia is classed as a foreigner, even though she has a Roman name. She's a nurse, so that whaling might be quite bad indeed. Malleolus is certainly a nickname. So Malleolus, his duty is money lending, so we have a loan shark of some kind. That might even be implying that he's Jewish, because yes, that stereotype really is this old. Although it wasn't nearly as common in this time as it would be later on. That sort of picks up with the whole money lending is a sin thing in sort of the Middle Ages. But notes not to be trusted, right? Like, what are you gonna do? But Malleolus means, like a mallet, like a little hammer. It's a diminutive, like scintilla. So a malleus, or malleus rather, is a hammer. Malleolus is a mallet. It's also the name of, the sticky outy bit in your ankle. So, what do you know? We've got Naivia. who's a physician, and she's locked herself in the palace, so that's going to be an interesting story. Octavia, she's up here somewhere. Rufius, often a reference to reddish hair. And he is some kind of guard. Increasingly agitated. Sentia, of course, we have just met. Restricted to the villa for her safety. Scintilla missing. Sentius, as noted. Ulpius, a debt bondsman or client to Malleolus. I mean, if he's a money lender, this is sort of his gig, I guess. Virgil is an architect. That's pretty cool. And that's our register. Okay. Oops. Okay. Thanks.
Of course.
So, are you gonna break the rule?
As I always say, it's kind of like a divine version of the practice of decimation in the Legion. By threatening to execute 1 in 10 men, the idea is to ensure order and discipline among everyone. And it works. If you knew you could be executed because your brother-in-arms is planning a mutiny, well, you'd bloody well watch him like 100-eyed Argus, wouldn't you? Because your only chance of saving yourself is to stop bad things before they happen. Makes us all responsible for keeping each other in check. It's brutal, of course, but effective. The Legion wouldn't be the most formidable force in the world without it.
Oh boy. So, since there aren't any other similar family name setups, does that mean there probably isn't another family in the city? Yeah, that's actually probably true. And you'll notice that there aren't any children either. Like, the closest we get is Sentia and Scintilla. And they are pupils, apparently, so they are docti puellae. So, yeah, it may be that Sentia is also adopted, although nobody says so. But my guess is not. My guess is that we have our only related pair in Sentius and Sentia. So back to what Horatius was saying, you know, he mentioned 100-eyed Argus. Argus, from the myth of Io, Argus is a 100-eyed monster who is constantly vigilant. He can see all around him. And so, you know, the Greek myth is that, you know, Zeus inevitably cheats on Hera, rapes this girl named Io. Hera is on the brink of finding out, so Zeus changes her into a cow and brings her up to guard her. And Hera is still kind of wise to this, so she's like, yeah, just a cow. We'll see about that, and puts 100-eyed Argus on the job to watch her and make sure that that's all that's happening. And then Hermes is tasked by Zeus with getting her out of this situation, so Hermes puts Argus to sleep. So all 100 of his eyes close, and that's how they get Io out of there. But, yeah. Brutal but effective. Are you saying you're in favor of it?
Done. I was forced to execute my brothers in arms, and those memories will always visit me in my sleep. But life is harsh, and I've come to accept my lot. As with the Golden Rule, I don't have any control over it, so railing against it would be like trying to stop the seasons or the tides. As Seneca the Younger wrote, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied with what we have, which is sufficient. For he that is so wants nothing.
Right, so this is sort of the downside of Senecan Stoicism, right? This is this acceptance of hierarchy. Accept what you can't change, even when it's human-made. And it was sort of used like this at the time, which is... Let's say I'm not in favor of it, shall we? Let's talk about war crimes. What does he think about war crimes?
Isn't that a contradiction in terms? As Cicero said, in times of war the law falls silent.
That is indeed messed up.
Your sort wouldn't last a week in the Legion.
No, I would not. I would not last a day in a Legion, and I don't want to. So... Here he's quoting Cicero, and for him, Cicero is a figure of, like, 50 years ago. So a great statesman who wrote a lot of really excellent literature and a lot of really great speeches, but like a figure of the past.
If you like.
So, there is an election coming up, and he, as a man of the village, of the upper class, will be given a vote. So who's he going to vote for?
Not that it's any of your business, but my loyalty is and always will be with Sentius. Unfortunately, I don't think my vote is going to make any difference today. See, Domitius has been going around town, shoring up votes for Malleolus with lies, bribery, and intimidation. The man's a savage, but he's a gladiator. So people fear and respect him more than they should. Sentius knows about it, of course, but he doesn't have the same rat cunning as Malleolus. This place will be different with that sleaze at the helm. But I try not to worry about things I can't change.
Well, can I help with this?
But you're new here, and I just can't see how you could make an impact in the time between now and the election this afternoon.
Yeah, we're a bit late for that.
If you're interested in the election, go and have a chat with Equitia, the Vestal Priestess. She'll be overseeing proceedings.
Okay.
What business is that of yours? A lot of people have been looking for her. But it's been 3 weeks, and we've found nothing. What makes you think you can do better?
We could push him. Yeah, let's see what he says.
No, it's not that. We all care for Scintilla. She is, or was, a lovely young woman. But I learned long ago not to dwell on things.
He's really big on this detachment thing.
Try not to, anyway. But I don't want to seem obstructive. If you have questions, ask away. Scintilla was always a kind, well-behaved young woman. I admit, her disappearance really caught me off guard. If anyone knows something, I'd expect it to be Sentia, Malleolus, Claudia, or Domitius.
And what exactly does Scintilla have to do with Malleolus?
Fine.
If we're looking for suspects for who was her secret lover, I suppose it might be this guy. He seems awfully smitten.
All right. Please keep an eye out for anything that might lead us to Scintilla.
Alright. So, okay, so this room is the kitchen, apparently. We have another of these nice little lamps. The bread, onions, mushrooms, cabbages. The produce bowl with its purple carrots. Cabbage, a very important Roman dietary staple. Cato the Elder thought it could cure just about anything. I think there was an MLM based on that recently, actually. I'm not sure why they give us this thing about the oven, but the stove, but that's nice. So, some drying herbs. Oh, a little shovel. This is actually a recreation of an artifact that that has been found, has been recovered. I don't have its info up right now. Sorry, David. Yeah, I don't know what's up with the little extra round things on the top, but nice little ash shovel, fireplace shovel. So that's pretty much all for in here. What do we got here? Oh, Cynthia's room. Okay. A vial of perfume. A bust of Ares, an odd choice for a girl. Or, sorry, Mars. Can you tell I'm a Hellenist? Cosmetics jars. Cynthia's journal. So this was started post-disappearance. Which is apparently a tactic for Cynthius to spy on her, at least as far as she knows. So it's just these 2 pages. That's cute. A little brass mirror. Most mirrors would be made of shiny metal rather than polished glass, because mirror glass is actually really hard to make and expensive since it's usually backed with silver. This family could probably afford some proper mirrors, but a hand mirror certainly would be more likely to be brass or bronze. She's got a chest. Not too much money in it. Getting dark out. Hello? Cynthia, what's up?
What have you discovered?
Ah.
I see.
Can we talk about what you're doing in
Of course.
Scintilla's room?
What have you discovered? Yes, please do.
Yeah, what are you up to, exactly? Let's look in here. So, even less money. There's a note. I'm sorry to leave you this way, but I may have found a way to escape and I must take it. I hope we meet again someday. So that's fascinating. Got a little ink jar. Sort of the this comb is also a real artifact that we found examples of. So, Cynthia.
What have you discovered?
Found this note.
What? Really?
Literally in front of you.
I searched her room top to bottom and never saw that. I wonder how I could have
Yeah,
missed it.
you certainly did seem to.
Strange, but well done, I suppose. But it's odd. It was only a few months ago that Scintilla's friend Yulia let slip she was planning an escape of her own. And yet, Yulia's still here. You should go and speak with her. Find out if she knows anything. She lives in the villa next door.
Right. So, Malleolus must live next door. That's Sentius again, so we don't have anything for him yet. And, oh, here's Push-Up Guy. He's wearing a gladiator helmet, so that seems likely to be Domitius. Which person?
Dumb. I saw you. Having a shady little chat with old man Sentius up on his balcony. If he's making a last-ditch effort to pick up votes by talking to a woman, he's even more senile than I thought. Everyone knows women can't vote.
Everyone knows women can't vote. It's true we weren't talking about the election.
Murmuring about on election day. Mark my words, Malleolus is going to be magistrate by the end of the day. And if I tell him you've sided with that feeble old has-been, that you've been trying to undermine his hard-won victory, You'll have picked the wrong patron. Got it?
So here he is referencing patronage. I don't care about the election. I really don't. You both seem like
Nobody likes
putzes.
Caput Murday foreigners interfering in an election.
So, here again we get the cursing in Latin. Caput merdae, shithead. So, can I ask you some shit? Yes, thank you. What is your
My
story?
name's Domitius. You want to get to Malleolus? You go through me.
Cool. Sounds
Too
good.
bad. He's busy. Unless... No. You don't look like you could afford it.
You want a bribe.
I'm glad you asked. See, he's a busy man, and this is an important day. He'll be inside practicing his victory speech for tonight. Left me strict instructions he doesn't want to be disturbed. So if you want to see him, I'll need something valuable in return.
I mean, what's valuable
Dunno.
to you?
Something good.
Thanks, that was very informative.
Bribe? That's such an ugly word. What I'm looking for is more of a tribute to me, your soon-to-be patron.
So, he's not saying Malleolus will be your patron, he's saying he will be your patron. So that's, looking to rise in the world for a gladiator.
Just make it good. When Malleolus wins the election, yeah, this place will change. You won't even want to leave. You'll see.
That seems unlikely.
I think it's gone on long enough, and Malleolus is going to put an end to it once he's elected.
He's gonna put an end to the Golden Rule. I'd like to see that.
He's going to announce it in his victory speech. Just you wait and see.
Sure.
We've already lined up the votes he needs to win. Just stay out of our way, and we won't have a problem.
I don't know if you could hear that, but my cat says hello. I feel like it's a bit silly to ask who he's going to vote for.
She's not here.
Oh, she's not here.
Had to carry her to Lucretia's clinic this morning. Shrine of Apollo. She was acting sick. Faking it, if you ask me.
Oh boy,
Typical.
this ought to be good. So she's sick. She went to the shrine where Lucretia's been wailing. Probably not good news.
Listen, I don't abduct women. They come to me. And they keep coming back. If you know what I mean.
Yeah,
You don't know Sturkus.
crap. Sturkus. You're really just not a helpful person.
Whatever. Just remember, I'll be watching.
Alright, so this is... Wait. This is Malleolus's villa. The door is locked, unfortunately. These are interesting. So these butterflies are lighting up these creeper vines, and we can inspect them. They might be climbable if only they could support my weight. Okay. I don't know what's gonna change that's gonna be able to do that, but sure. Very pretty gardens. But, not a lot else to this place right now. Can't get in. What's this door?
Hey! You're not thinking about going
It's
into
apparently
the
the
cistern,
cistern.
are you? Nobody's told you about Hannibal? Ugh. Why do I have to do
Hey, we can
everything?
actually see his eyes now.
So, there was this guy called Hannibal, right? Funny accent. Used to go down into the cisterns looking for junk he could clean up and sell. One day, a few weeks back, he comes out and tells me the cisterns are haunted. Said he could hear spirits wailing. Of course, nobody believed him, because who trusts a Carthaginian, right?
Right?
Anyway,
I mean,
a few days
right?
later, he goes back in. And hours go by, and he hasn't come back out, yeah? So I go down after him, and it's dark. But in the distance, I can just make out his body, sprawled out on the ground, and hunched over him was something that made my blood run cold. No word of a lie, I saw a creature. Like the corpse of a man who'd been flayed, and it was eating Hannibal.
So, some kind of zombies down there? Of course, they don't have a word zombie. That's a modern appropriation and disinformation about an African tradition, but a creature like the corpse of a man who'd been flayed eating Hannibal. That's no good. So...
Well, any sane person would have done. I legged it out of there and put a sign at the door to warn the others.
I'm not gonna go down there today.
Good idea.
Yeah. Okay, so noted. Creepy door full of zombies. Let's not do that. So, we've got a third villa here. Very pretty. Nice abstract mosaic. There were butterflies here a minute ago. Where did they go? One thing I didn't notice last time, but you may see as you're watching in the background, is that these statues are not always so stationary. So, we've got another little kitchen. It's just going to tell me the same thing about the stove. So, nothing of import in here. Somebody's room. Oh, Octavia's room. What do we got? Ooh, there's a note. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Ooh, do we have a secret Christian? Dun dun dun. You may not be able to openly worship here, but know that you're not alone. There is a special place waiting for you deep in the caves behind the theater. Turn right at the first fork and again at the second. Well, that's fascinating. Another little Lararium, same model as the first. This one has the light burning. Nice little portico back here. A great view of rocks. And also some nice gardens. Yeah, I can hear you. But I don't know what to do with you. Okay. Some kind of little scriptorium. Ink jars. Ah! That's the deal. We're in the Vestal's house. Looks like a note, but we're not getting a prompt to read it, so... Interesting that the Vestal would be would have a secret Christian as a probably servant. Oh, look at this fresco work. Now this is straight out of there's a whole room's worth of this where the wall is painted like a garden, complete with songbirds and flowers. I want to say it was dedicated to Augustus's wife Livia, but I would have to look it up. Not much up here, just this little balcony. Okay. So that's the patrician's quarters. Who are you?
Greetings and salutations. Greetings, I'm Georgius. It gladdens me to see another foreigner in our midst. We must stick together.
So, Georgius the Greek.
And I must say, my sartorial friend, your clothing is most extraordinary. Leather boots in place of sandals, trousers with precise stitching, and such a curious design. I have traveled distant trade routes from the markets of Damascus to the farms of India, and never have I seen anyone dressed quite like you. Tell me, I must know, from which exotic part of the world do you hail?
Well, I don't know what he'll say if I try and actually tell him, but let's give it a shot.
Is this a riddle, or perhaps you mean to say you feel like you are ahead of your time? I feel the same way. Another reason for us to
I
stick
love
together.
his optimism.
We will have much time
He's
here
so
to
cute.
get to know one another. But for now, do you require assistance? I know you do not require clothing, so information perhaps?
One thing that bothers me about this guy is, why is he dressed like this if he's so into fashion? Like, first of all, white clothing, not easy to maintain. So, like, if he's going for, you know, lower class tunics, what is this? Second of all, this is so boring. Like, we'll see his shop at some point, and he has his selection of gorgeous fabrics. He's traveled all over the known world. Why is he dressed in an ill-fitting, ill-cut-together white tunic? I don't understand. Let's ask him about his story.
My story? How kind of you to ask. I am a tailor and I run the humble shop in the forum.
Why set up a tailor shop here?
With all the
There are
turmoil
only
and
like
terror
20
of the
people.
Golden Rule and so few customers. Why bother setting shop at all? I'll tell you, it is precisely because of the Golden Rule that I wish to remind my friends of the importance of looking one's best.
Hey, if you're gonna get frozen
the
as a
more of our
statue,
customs we preserve
might as well
down
look
here,
awesome.
The more we can preserve a semblance of normality, the better our chances of keeping our heads. Don't you agree?
That's actually a pretty good reason. So how did you get
A
here?
good question. A very good question indeed. And I would be happy to tell you if only I could remember it clearly myself. I remember I had just been to Rome to sell an extraordinary selection of wares, and droning in coin, I decided to celebrate my success.
Oh, I guess the election has started.
Mariolus to become
The
magistrate.
election's on!
Huh. Alright. Why are we going into the slums for the election? Ah, an amphitheater. Fascinating. Whoa. Did you see that? Creepy. Somebody was drinking when they went down. Georges. What else have we got here? Somebody in blue. Ooh. Our friend Galerius. Somebody...
Citizens, we have a quorate body of voters.
Ah, that must be Equitia.
The city's magistrate. The candidates are Sextus Sentius Imperiosus.
That must be
and
Malleolus.
Malleolus Gurges. As agreed, we shall dispense with ballots, and candidates will abstain from voting. Let's make this
You
quick.
might be
As I say
Rufius,
your
another
name,
guard.
call your vote.
I guess this is all the guys in the city.
Horatius.
Sentius, of course.
Georgius.
Malleolus.
Dacius.
Malleolus.
Galerius.
I abstain. I'm just here to observe.
Interesting.
Virgil.
Malleolus.
Rufius.
Malleolus.
And finally, Domitius.
Malleolus. Who else?
Citizens, you have made your decision. Your new magistrate is
Marcus Malleolus
Gurges.
Gurges?
Hail, Magistrate Malleolus.
What is Gurges? Oh, I might have to look
I
into that.
said, hail, Magistrate Malleolus.
I'm keen to hear this victory
That's more like
speech.
Thank you. Thank you. I am delighted and deeply honored to have been elected your magistrate. And now, I make this solemn promise to you, good citizens. Under my leadership, you will finally enjoy the freedom you deserve. No more shall you walk on eggshells, fearing simply to live and breathe, because the tyrant Sentius told you it was forbidden. For my first act as magistrate, I hereby announce a day of celebration to mark the end of an era. The myth of the Golden Rule is no more.
Golden Rule is real, you idiot.
For his attempt to deceive us all,
Oh boy.
Sentius is hereby found guilty of
This is gonna
treason
get interesting
against the
quickly.
Empire.
What? I have committed no crimes. This is madness.
His sentence: to fight for his life in gladiatorial combat against Domitius. Here and now
Oh
for
boy.
your entertainment.
You have no idea what you're doing. You're going to get us all killed.
Wait, I exercise my right as a Vestal priestess to pardon him. I will not allow you to do this.
So,
You're
Equitia.
showing your true colors now, priestess. Your corruption sickens me. Domitius, ignore
Showing her power as a
Proceed.
Vestal, but
is insanity.
unfortunately...
You doom us all.
Lies! It is time the Golden Rule was exposed for what it is, a children's fable, exploited by a treacherous leader to instill fear in all of us.
This is why he's in his gladiator gear. They've been planning this all along.
Shut up, all of you. The magistrate has spoken. I'm going to enjoy killing you, old man.
The many shall suffer for the
That's not
sins
good.
of the one.
Oh, that's very not good. Oh boy. Follow the butterflies. Yes, get me out of here. Yipes! Golden Rule. Not a children's fable, apparently. Oh, that is a lot of golden statues, and I have no idea where I'm going. Fortunately, these butterflies seem to. You can die in this game. But fortunately, I have a way to reset the day. And I think that is a very good moment to stop streaming. Alright, folks, thank you so much for coming. I hope that you enjoyed our first full day of running around and getting shot by golden statues. We will try this again next weekend, and maybe we can find out who broke the golden rule, since that fight didn't even start yet. Alright, thanks very much. Have a good night.